Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. Today we are back with the Honda CB360 ran when parked, and it's all about sorting out the wiring harness. So what we're going to do first is clean it up, and then I'm going to go through and check it for continuity, make sure I'm getting power, all the wires work, none of them are broken. We'll repair the ones that need to be repaired, just like this one I found. Sometimes it's easier to cut it than it is to just unbolt this and getting it off right there. So I'll fix that, repair that. We're going to hook up a battery to this, test it all the way through, make sure everything works. Okay, so we're going to get to cleaning it. This is just going to be a painstaking process. A couple of rags, some Comet antibacterial spray cleaner, cuts through grease and grime. Why this? Because it was in the cabinet. So I'm just going to spray everything down and go through, wipe off each one. Kind of start from the top, work my way all the way back.
An eternity later.
Back with the wiring harness for the CB360, plugged in all the components, and then we went through and just tested for continuity. So I've got a battery hooked up over here and just simply running through as far as I can go. This is the ground running all the way through. It's from one end. It's basically running from here all the way to there, so it's good. And we did that with as many of these wires as we could. I think this is a yellow, so I think I have a yellow way over here. Stick that in there, and I've got a yellow right here. Get a good connection. There we go. Got another one, even though this is a white, it's got a yellow on it. There we go. So I know we're running from here all the way to here, and we're not broken. So we should be able to test these two. Although these are just, even though they're yellow, the plugs for this go to the points. So that's why that's not there. I can test my yellow and red. I think I have a yellow and red just to show you. And I've just been painstakingly running through this and just doing this. I should have a yellow and red coming all the way from the starter solenoid to right here. And this may or may not work because it may need a key on to complete the circuit. I think this one does though. Let's see. Yep. And so we're good. We're good. I went through and tested all of it, so at least this is good. Now we're going to get to work, start cleaning things up. Only bad thing is that this is all the electrical tape I have left, so I'm going to go get some more, and then I'm going to get to getting and cleaning this thing up. Okay, so here we go. We checked the continuity. I finally got some electrical tape. So we're just going to go ahead and tape up all the spots that anywhere where there's loose, where the tape on it is loose, and then we're going to go through in any place where it's covered. It's uncovered like this right here. Next step, which is getting the carburetors, start cleaning those, and then we'll mount this thing up while those are soaking. Okay, so here we have the carbs for the CB360, excuse me, and then we also have the ultrasonic cleaner that is warming up. We have it warming up. It gets up to 80 degrees Celsius or 175, 176 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll let that, and it just has some water and some pine sol in it, which is what we're going to run it through. But right now we're going to break down the carburetor just so we can see what we have. And starting right here, just pulling these caps off. I like using these little trays you can get from Harbor Freight. I think they're a couple bucks a piece. Just especially when you're taking carburetors apart, I can put all the pieces in one spot so I don't have to worry about losing them. I am going to get a little, while these are apart, I am going to soak these caps in the Evaporust just to see if we can get off some of those pitting, see if we can get it a little cleaner. And I'm also going to soak this hardware too, because you can see it's kind of rusty on there. So we're going to soak those there. Let's see what we got. Just being careful not to bust our diaphragm. We'll set this here, the spring, and I just want to look for cracks. I hosed all this down. I hosed this carburetor down with, this still feels really good. I hosed it down with PB Blaster, just so it would, and I like to flip them over like this, so when I set them down, I'm not, if I leave them for a while, they're not getting stuck on something. Everything looks good there. The jet, everything, these look, I mean, these look like they're in pretty good shape. So we'll jump on the other one. You can see these two. They are pitted, a little rough, so we'll get those clean. Do yourself a favor with these old carburetors, with these old Japanese bikes, is get a set of JIS screwdrivers. It'll save you from rounding everything off, because they look like Phillips, but they're not. So, because these are a little flatter, they're not as pointed as the Phillips. Okay, so I have me a little container of Evaporust over here next to the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm gonna go ahead and take these and wash them off in the, this is just Dawn dishwashing liquid and some water, just to get off that PB Blaster. We'll set them in there. There's one in. Dry this one up. And again, we just did a quick rinse with PB Blaster. You can see what they look like now. We should be able to get some of the rough stuff, may not come off, but most of it should. Put those in there, and we're going to put all of the hardware in there as well, since they'll be sitting right next to. We'll just see if that comes clean. We don't know. We'll give it a shot. And then now let's take these bowls off. I'm actually going to pull off the drain plug first. And with these big brass screws, I like to use the biggest screwdriver that'll fit in it, so that we don't end up with what happened here. You see? So that one just got wallowed out. So biggest screwdriver I have that fits in, that way it makes it a little easier to come out. See what this one looks like, and then we'll get to work on that other one. See, this is a good example of how these just get wallowed out just because they were using the wrong, they were using a Phillips instead of a JIS. See, all of them. So that's the thing. Make sure you're using the correct one. It's not too bad inside the bowl, not too bad. I'm just going to throw that in the bucket. Get out the float, the pin for the float. Got my needle here. This is still rubbery, still looks good. We'll check to make sure these actually float, and then we'll pop these off. The retainer for the float seat, and then we'll look to getting these off. Let me hit this to 8. Let me separate these two. Now, the one thing I probably should have mentioned is this is your main jet holder. Looks pretty clear. This guy doesn't look, that's maybe a little clogged. Set those there. One thing I wanted to go back and mention, if when you're pulling this pin out, your retaining pin for your float, sometimes they'll be stuck and you'll be tempted to go ahead and smack on it right there. What you'll end up doing is breaking the top of the tower right here. So just be careful when you're doing it. If it's soak, little PB Blaster, any lubricant penetrating oil that you can will be your friend in that regard. So go ahead and do that. You know, I like to use, like I said before, the largest screwdriver that'll fit in the hole. Nice and easy so it doesn't rip it out. Let me put my jets all in one spot. There we go. And then let's pull this guy out. Probably going to be one, and then there's one all the way under there, which is my pilot. This is just a plug. Sometimes on your, they're just plastic. They just jammed in there. I like this. Any one of these, you can get these little screwdriver sets from Harbor Freight, super cheap, but they work perfectly for this because you can't really jam a screwdriver in there, and you can hold it and spin it. So just got to get it loose and then just flip it over till it pops out. Pilot jet, making sure it's not clogged up. We're going to soak all these, making sure they're good and clean. So they're going to get dumped into the, yeah, everything looks good. So that's just the body. The body's there, everything else. Now let's jump on to this side. We could take out this seat. If we do, because there's an O-ring right there that would need to be replaced. And everything looks pretty good. We'll go through after we soak it. We'll blow out all the passages, but we're going to go ahead and just throw these down in the soapy water. Let me just clean up this mess right here. I do have just a little OCD, just a little, but if you can have it clean, why have it any other way? Okay, let me get this stuff kind of rinsed off, then we'll get back to you guys in just a moment. Okay guys, so we have everything in the ultrasonic cleaner, well, the carb bodies. As you can see, I've got the jets just in here. I know it's not completely submerged. What we'll do is we'll cook this for a bit, and then we'll flip it over. I'll pull those jets out, clean them out really good, then we'll go from there. Let me get this lid back on, and then we'll get checked on the carb and the tops of the carbs to see what those look like. Let me put this on top. And again, it's about 55 degrees Celsius right now, so it's starting to get warm, so that'll be good. Now let's see what these have been soaking for maybe about half hour, 40 minutes. Let's see if they've made a difference. And then I like to, while I'm doing this, is just hit them with the, you can see it still has some surface rust on there. Let me see if I find it better. Yeah, here we go. Still has some surface rust on there, but we're going to try to knock it off with trying to find a better brush, and then we're going to stick it back in. We're just going to give it a little quick once over. We'll go through all this. It's not, they're not going to come out perfect, but again, the rust is going to be gone, and they'll be better than they were. Wherever it was pitted, it's just going to go back to regular metal. If the plating's gone, it's not going to put the plating back on. So let's give it a little wipe, see what it looks like. But that's considerably better than what it was. So let's get out the other one really quick. Again, I think they look better than they did. They're not perfect, but again, if on your build, if you want to replace them, just go ahead and replace them. Let them cook some more. Again, same thing with that. Let that cook some more. We got 78 minutes on the ultrasonic cleaner. Again, we're at 59 degrees Celsius. It's getting hotter. So, clean the top of this. And then we'll keep going. We'll put these back in the drawer. This back up. And then we just had to mount up the wiring harness. Let me set you up and we'll get to that. Okay, so we got the carbs out of the ultrasonic cleaner. They look really good when you see it. And then I've already went ahead and put it back together so we could see it, just to get a little bit of ahead of it. I am still need to source a carb bowl. Go ahead, and we're still gonna get a carb kit for it, just so I can redo these gaskets. I need a gasket for right here. But this is the first run on, I'm putting these back together. So now I'm just going to put the bowls back on and, oh, can't put the bowls on yet. I missed this guy. Got to put this guy in. That's my stay for the seat for the float seat. Everything's good, everything moves. I did go ahead and check my float height. This is a simple little tool, guys. This is, let me put my glasses on, I can't see. This is the tool I use, which you can go ahead and do it, and this is Pit Posse Tools PP2699. I'll put the link in the description. But Pit Posse Tools PP2699, and it's great. You can just set it right on the bowl, on the float body, on the carb body, excuse me, to be able to measure your float. And you got your increments right here. I also went ahead and I searched float heights, and I found this great sheet. It's a good cheater, right? It's got a whole bunch of, this is just early Honda stuff, but I got a whole bunch of them right here, and it says how to do it, which makes life a little easier. So I was able to find this, and I can definitely get in the ballpark most of the time. I can also Google 1974 Honda CB360 float height, and I'll come up with what it is. But this is a good cheat sheet for at least getting started. I just made sure they were in. I'm going to have to go through this carb again. This was the first wash, first clean. This was just in getting it clean, getting it ready. We'll rebuild it after. We'll change out the pieces and parts, mostly the gaskets, things like that, around just to make sure everything's good. But now we're just going to put the rest of it together. We need hardware and everything that's in here. So let's see. It's been about, let me make a little bit of room. It's been a couple hours, I guess, with this stuff cooking in here. It's been a little while. Let's see what they look like. Put this guy down here. Came out pretty good. All the hardware. Okay, that's everything. 2, 4, 6, 8. We're good. Okay, that's everything out of there. And now we're just gonna, I'm gonna clean them off real quick with a little bit of this spray. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna hit them with the brush again. Spray that, wipe it off. Get another one of these. Yeah, that's not bad. It's totally usable, right? Totally usable. One of these had a ding in it. This one has a little ding in it. I'm gonna try to smack it out a little bit. Trying to tap that out a little bit, and let's see if I can get it with this one. I may have to go with this. It's getting there. Yeah, I think that's better than it was. I mean, come on, it's a. I do get a little crazy sometimes. This is an old. It's not bad. I pounded it out a little bit. Not bad. You can see there's still some pitting. Like I said before, that vapor rust, it got rid of the rust, and it pulled the rust off and did it. But if it's pitted already, and these were really, that's really thin metal, so they're gonna pit easy. but they're way better than they were before. And the last screw going in. So thank you guys as always for watching another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. Do us a favor and go ahead and hit the subscribe button and follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind. Thanks again guys, and have a great day.